Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Afternoon Tune. I'm your host, Josh, and with me is my co-host here.
Hello, it's Nick.
And we got a great show for you people today. We're going to be discussing West Side Story, which is the remake directed by Steven Spielberg. We also have Encanto, which is the new Disney film. We also going to be discussing episode 3 and 4 of Hawkeye. And also Nick's going to be giving his review of Belfast. I didn't get a chance to see it. I'll probably just review it tomorrow.
Okay.
And just discuss it then. So he's going to give his review of that. We also going to be doing some trailer discussions. Going to discuss the new Matrix trailer, the second trailer for that, Matrix Resurrection. The second trailer for that came out. Discussing all that. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The trailer for that finally came out. Also going to be discussing this Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. The trailer for that came out, kind of a little bit of a little teaser kind of thing came out for that. Also going to be discussing Charlie Cox back as Daredevil. He's MCU announced he's staying as Daredevil for the MCU.
Nerds, our prayers have been answered.
Yeah, so good thing we'll talk about that. Talk about potentially where that's going to go. Are they going to bring back other people from the Marvel Netflix stuff? So
are they going to bring back everybody from the Marvel Netflix stuff? Like, are they going to bring back Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, The Punisher, and nobody else?
Yeah. So we're gonna be getting into all that. So how are you there, Nick?
I am wonderful. This is finally the last. I finally finished one of my final term papers for my college classes, so it's just cake, and I just gotta take my final exam, and then I am done.
Nice.
And now hopefully I have time to watch some of the stuff that I actually want to watch. Like my girl's been bugging me about trying to watch Succession, which I have not had a chance to.
Yeah, that seems like to be the new big show now. Everybody's always talking about Succession. Excuse me real quick. I gotta... Excuse me. I just got a little bit of a bug here.
Oof, you're all right, dude.
Yeah. So... I hear that's the new show that everybody's talking about now. Is Succession, yeah. And I guess it's just like Arrested Development. If that was a drama, I guess is what I'm hearing.
No, it feels more like the true story of the Trump family.
Okay. All right.
Except you actually get to revel in how awful these people are.
Okay. And I know Jeremy Strong is in it. And then he had like some quote about method acting that went kind of viral or something. People talk about his method acting or something like that. About how he said how in depth he goes into the character and everything like that. So I forgot exactly what he said on there. But yeah, I've been meaning to. It's only like 2 seasons, right?
It's on its 3rd season now.
Okay.
And a bunch of my friends in the podcast community, they've finished it. They've seen all of it, and they say it's incredible. I'm on season 2 now.
Okay, good. We should check it out someday. Review it for the show. Be interesting to watch. All right, so we'll get into a movie that we both saw here. West Side Story. Like I said, West Side Story is a remake of the 1960s film, which was also based on...
Yes, and that's a big important distinction. Where the original 60s film, that was an adaptation of the Broadway show. This film, directed by Steven Spielberg, and I think his first musical, it's a remake of that film.
Yes. Which was based on, like Nick said, the Broadway musical, legendary Broadway musical.
Yeah, legendary musical with music by Stephen Sondheim, who just passed away, I think a week or 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Yes. And you even have a person who's returning from that 1961 film, Rita, who plays Valentina. You have Rita Monaro, who's here again. She was in the 1961 film, and she's come back here for the 2021 film. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to see. And there's even some buzz about her potentially even getting an Oscar nomination for her performance, which I could kind of see. Excuse me. She is very good in this, but we'll discuss
Hmm.
that and discuss her role in here. So, if you don't know what West Side Story is, it is kind of this battle in the city between the Sharks and the Jets. Here you have the Jets, who are kind of represented as the Irish and Italian people, losing their community because of the influx of immigration coming with Puerto Ricans, who the Puerto Ricans are the Sharks, and then and then the Irish and Italians would be the Jets, and just kind of battling for territory in this kind of New York neighborhood here. And one of the main people that you see as representative of the leader of the Jets is a guy played by Mike Faust, is his name. Who I think he does a really wonderful job here, and I think everybody really does a fantastic job, and it's nice to see people singing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's only one actor I think who is kind of shit in the bed, and that's only because, in comparison to everybody else in this cast, they are knocking it out of the park, and he's just kind of there.
Is it Chino?
No, it's Ansel Elgort.
Ansel, really? Okay. Okay, we'll
Yeah, I
talk
think
about.
he's just a really mediocre actor.
Oh, okay. We'll talk about that because I feel differently here. But yeah, so you have that Mike Faust, who kind of represents. He's one of the leaders of the Jets here. And you have one of the leader of the Sharks, the Puerto Rican kind of gang here. Is guy who plays Bernardo here? I forgot the actor's name.
Yeah, Bernardo is played by David Alvarez.
David Alvarez, who has a sister who's named Maria, who's 18 years old, who, when they go to a dance, meets the Ansel Elgort character. And then it's basically love at first sight, star-crossed lovers, the forbidden love, Romeo and Juliet, that type of stuff that happens in these type of situations. And the tension that ensues, the racial tension there between these two communities, white, Puerto Rican. And you see that kind of played out throughout the movie, and I think it's very great to see, great to watch. And like I said, it has people who really know how to sing. It's not just sing talking. Sometimes you'll have it where in these movies, sometimes you'll have actors who don't really know how to sing, but they try to talk their way through it, like Emma Stone. Oh no, I'm sorry, not Emma Stone. Emma Watson in like Beauty and the Beast, or something like
Or
that.
Ryan Gosling in La La Land.
Yeah, they'll just kind of like talk, sing their way through it. Here you have people with beautiful voices like Maria, the actress who plays her. She's great. She gets a lot of great numbers. The woman who was Bernardo's girlfriend.
Oh
She's
yes, yeah, Ariana DeBose, who plays the role of Anita, and if she looks familiar, she was in the ensemble for Hamilton.
Okay. Yeah, she's wonderful. She belts it out very, very terrifically. I thought she was fantastic. She has great numbers, and the dance sequences are beautiful to watch. Like the choreography is fantastic.
Yes, I think Spielberg, for his first musical, he knows enough about filmmaking to know that he might not be the guy that is like doing the choreography or everything on that. He's getting other people for that, but he knows how to film it. He knows how to pull the camera back, and something that I remember talking about with Shang-Chi, how the camera follows the action with it, and how, like, in a musical sequence, it's pretty much the camera is always on pace with your actor doing the dancing, and he does that here in spades.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's beautiful to watch people do their spins and their kicks, and you know what I mean. It's just fantastic to watch.
Even, even though I think at the opening number where it's like the Jets all go into like the Puerto Rican side of town and they're doing their like cool guy snapping, and then they just twirl out of nowhere, I was just like,
I mean, yeah, I mean,
it is goofy, but I think I think a big difference between this and the '60s film is, I think the violence that is handled in here, it's played much more straight than it is in the '60s version of this film.
okay. So you saw the '60s version.
I saw very brief clips of the '60s films. Like after I saw this, I went on YouTube. I looked up like clips from key moments in both films, and I think because this is of course a Romeo and Juliet story, and everybody knows how that ends. And uh, and I was curious to see how the '60s version of this and the play handled those scenes. And I think here the violence is treated as straight as could possibly be, because that's like one of the things I loved about this. It is the contrasting tones between this like very light, playful Broadway show that's like has so full of life and energy, and then the real world consequences of the violence that's handled here.
Yeah. Two, like, obviously involved in two street gangs. There is violence, there are people
Yeah,
clashing.
and the biggest thing that I think is forgotten in the '60s version, because most of those actors were like in their early late 30s, and here they cast a lot younger. They all pass for like being teenagers, and that's the point. These are teenagers that are, to put it mildly, really fucking stupid. So they think that they're invincible. They don't understand the consequences of their actions, or how life altering or life ruining a lot of their violence is.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it's, they really, show that beautifully throughout the whole film and through the performances. And each person really gets a chance to really shine with their musical numbers. Like I mentioned, Bernardo has a great musical number. Maria, Ansel Elgort, who you talked about not liking in this movie, and so far with Ansel Elgort in this movie, I think this turned me kind of more around on him. I've never been that impressed with him in movies myself. Like, Baby Driver, never was really, didn't think he was all that great.
Yeah, I think with him, I think it's a case of, I don't think he's bad. I just think everybody else is overshadowing him completely. It's like in the musical numbers he has with Rachel Zegler, she is singing like she is on stage, like she is on Broadway, and he is singing like a generic bubblegum pop star. I felt.
Okay, I thought
I think of, like with a lot of his other movies, I think it would have been improved with a different actor.
Okay.
Preferably one that isn't an accused rapist.
Okay. All right. Yeah, maybe. But I thought, he had a pretty decent voice. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I think there are other people who are better singing wise. But I still thought he held his own pretty well. And I think that the whole cinematography of the movie looks gorgeous as well. How they have everything kind of set up, and the colors that really pop, that really are vibrant on screen. This being, set in the '60s, people wearing, these, the outfits and the colors, the yellows and the blues and the reds, especially when she's dancing. Bernardo, his girlfriend here, her character name is, what's her character's name? It's Manita. She's really great. The way she moves, her dress, she wears like this nice dress to the ball, to this ball there, and the way she twirls around with the dress looks really fantastic. And I was really, really impressed by that. And yeah, I mean, and I think a lot of the emotional gut wrench, a lot of the stuff in this works really well. Real is a good gun punch. The theater I was, in, a lot of the audience reaction was, visceral. A lot of people really felt it when those kind of moments came, and I think it landed very well. And Spielberg, obviously, people are, I think, a little skeptical maybe of this remake, because of the West Side Story being such a classic the way it is. But obviously, it helps when you have Spielberg, who's one of the greatest living directors ever. You know what I mean, coming out here and doing it.
Yes, that, and you have actual Latino actors playing Latin characters, which is a huge knock against the original '60s version. There was a lot of brown face going on in that reproduction.
Yeah, so that that also helps a lot here. I love this movie a lot. I'm going to say my favorite phrase of the year. Hey, this might be in my top 10. It's my favorite.
We are at that point of the year where I think a lot of studios are putting their Oscar hopefuls out. So you might be hearing that a lot this week, the next couple shows.
Yeah, and we're going to do a best of 2021 in January, the first week there. So we're going to be doing that, best of there. So this, I think, is definitely going to make it. This definitely is going to get nominated for Best Picture. I have no doubt about that. And I think y'all can see a lot of these people being nominated for the performance. Like I said, a lot of people talking about Rita Monaro. and a lot of people talking about her being nominated, Best Supporting. And I could see Maria, the actress Rachel Ziegler. I could see her being nominated.
Yeah, Rachel Zegler, she is wonderful, and I think this might be her feature debut. And holy crap, it is! And she is already blowing up off of this. Her next projects are the Snow White remake and Shazam, and she is blowing up on this. She is a wonderful singer. She captures so much visceral emotion in every single scene she's in. And the only knock I have about it is Ansel Elgort is just kind of there. Which I think was a criticism of both the original stage play and the 60s film, because Tony is kind of supposed to be this blank slate character.
Okay. I thought her number she did with Anita was fantastic. I thought that was fantastic. I thought that was a great
and
number.
Yes, yeah, that's one of my favorite numbers. I think I Feel Pretty, because it's set in this department store and she's like going around through all the different departments, trying on different outfits, doing all the dancing with it. That might be one of my favorite numbers in this.
Yeah. There's a lot of really, really great numbers in here. I love the
that's fantastic. America, which is probably one of the best songs in this.
Yep.
My personal favorite might be G, Officer Krupke, with a bunch of the Jets sitting in the police station, and they're all just going about why they are this way, why their home life is this tragic, and how it's played as a joke.
Yeah. There's a lot of great sequences here, a lot of great numbers.
Spielberg, he's working with great material. This is one of the greatest Broadway shows of all time, from one of the greatest composers and writers ever.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the play?
I have not seen a live production of a play.
Okay.
Besides 2018's Hamilton.
Okay. It's like I said, I mean, I can't really say anything really negative about the movie myself. I know you didn't like Hansel Elgort. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think you needed a singer that can carry a lot of, that can, if not match where Maria's singer is. You need somebody that can exceed her. You need somebody that is on the same level as her, and I don't think he is. I think Colton Ryan from Dear Evan Hansen could have easily played this role and matched her vocally.
Interesting. Well, I mean, for me, I thought he was decent enough. I thought he was pretty solid. I can't really say anything too negative about it. I like a lot of stuff about this movie. I thought it was fantastic from beginning to the end. Maybe it was a little, maybe too long, maybe, I guess, at 2 hours and 36 minutes, maybe. But, I mean, you had a lot of story to tell, and I think they used that time very wisely and do a very good job. I enjoy this a lot, love it a lot. I would give it a very, very strong tune in for me. What about you?
Yeah, like I'm saying, besides the, I think, kind of weak performance from Ansel Elgort, everybody in this is bringing their A game. Steven Spielberg, for his first musical, he is bringing so much life and energy, and I think with musical directors, the job is, I wouldn't say easy, because but it's very trusting, because you're putting a lot of faith in your choreographer and in your actors, and putting them in the recording booth and letting them do their thing. And I think he is wonderful. He brings a lot of life and energy to a film that, on paper, I'm straight up, I was not looking forward to. I have very strong opinions with a lot of musicals, especially stuff that's this old, which by today's standards is could be a little corny, especially if you didn't grow up as a theater kid. But this turned me around 100%. I absolutely adore this film. I give it a strong tune in as well.
You a theater kid?
No, I was not.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. What was the last movie Steven Spielberg did before this? It was Ready Player One, wasn't it?
I think it was Ready Player One. There might have been. I think he might have had one of his Oscar bait movies before that, but oh no, his last two was The Post and Ready Player One.
The Post. What was The Post again?
It was Oscar bait.
Okay. All right.
It was Meryl Streep coming out of her cave in order to get her obligatory Oscar nomination.
Okay. I really, really enjoyed it. This is definitely a rebound after Ready Player One.
Yeah, it's easily the best movie he's done in the last 5 years. The best thing he's done since Bridge of Spies.
Yeah, very much so. So we highly recommend you guys check it out. Go see it if you can. All right here. Okay, so moving on from discussing that, do you want to give your review of Belfast?
Sure. So, Belfast is the newest film from Kenneth Branagh, who you all know as Hollywood's Shakespeare guy, stuff for like Murder on the Orient Express, and he is the director of the first Thor movie. So here, what we're essentially getting is his take on a movie that is very similar to this. Is something that came out a couple years ago, and that would be Alfonso Cuarón's Roma. In terms that this is a story that I feel like is directly adapted from his childhood and showcasing his love and reverence for his hometown of Belfast in Northern Ireland. So something similar to that we discussed in West Side Story is capturing a lot of the serious, I wouldn't say racial, but more class and religious tension, because a big conflict in Northern Ireland at the time was Protestants and Catholics, and how that pretty much led to a whole lot of race riots out in the early 60s. And and I think the benefit of this movie is, one, it's shot gorgeously. This is nearly all in black and white, and all of these events are depicted through the eyes of this child and looked at through the lens of childlike innocence. And the movie doesn't go dark, but you can tell because of the portrayal of all the actors around him. And I think wonderful performance from his mother, who I'm blanking on the actor's name, Kaishirona Balfe, who is his mother, and Jamie Dornan, who plays his father. They're both absolutely spectacular. I think this might end up being one of my favorite films of the year, just for how it dances that fine line between this childlike playfulness versus this very serious subject matter. Mm-hmm. And I give this an absolutely very strong tune in. I honestly, because this kind of hits a lot of boxes of films that I don't like. This is very slow burn. This is, on paper, it is kind of pretentious. It's like, here we go again, another black and white film from an Academy Award nominated director. He's gonna shit something out and get his Oscar nomination. But I feel like this is a film that is entirely carried by the performances of the actors, all of whom are spectacular. Even Dame Judi Dench, who I don't think I've brought up, or Ciarán Hinds, who is wonderful as this child who's played by Judy Hill's grandparents.
No. So this is like a semi-autobiographical film, kind of, because it's about like Kenneth Branagh's kind of life a little bit, like when he was a child.
Yes, as far as I can tell, this is pretty much inspired directly by his childhood. And the film is almost entirely black and white, except for a few key sequences of him at the theater. And maybe that could inspire like his love for film and why he eventually becomes a director. But I don't think that's the focus of it. I think the focus is just kind of like this slice of life film of the 60s Belfast life.
Okay. Yeah. I've been hearing great things about it. Been meaning to check it out myself. So I'm going to watch it, give my thoughts on it tomorrow, hopefully. But yeah, great review. Very, very strong tune in from Nick here with Belfast. All right. So moving on from discussing Belfast, going to discuss a movie that I saw. Excuse me. I'm going to discuss Encanto, which is a Disney film. It is about the magical Madriels, this family that have superpowers except for one useless girl, Maribel, who doesn't have any powers. Like when these children they're born, they go to their door, and then they're gifted their power. You see, like, that's the special thing that happens in this family. You have women in the family like Louisa, who is super strong. You have people like Diane Guerrero's character, who her superpower is that she's just incredibly beautiful and pretty, and her character's name is Isabella. She just grows flowers wherever she goes.
Very much like the real life Diane Guerrero.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just Diane Guerrero playing Diane Guerrero, pretty much, just absolutely stunning, absolutely great, gorgeous, just the perfect person. And you have just Maribel, who she never got any powers, and then she's kind of just pretty much looked down upon the family. Umbrella, who is the grandmother. She's just kind of just stay out the way, you know what I mean? Because Antonio, who's the youngest of the family, his time is coming where, he's about to get his powers, and the whole, coronation is about to happen. And, just like, yeah, if you could just get out the way, not be in there, so much, because, we just don't want you to mess anything up. You know what I mean? And, that's fine. And,
Ooh.
and they really dog her out bad.
Yeah, you're describing this film. I'm just saying, oof.
Yeah. Oof. And she's voiced by Stephanie Beatriz, who people might know. She's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She's Rosa.
Rosa.
Yeah.
Rosa.
And she sounds completely different, because if you watch that, you'll go like, that does not sound...
If you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine and you hear Stephanie Beatriz interviewed, it's like... It's like in the early 2010s when you found out Andrew Garfield was British.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah, or like Idris Elba or somebody like that. It's like completely different. It's like, yeah, she does not sound like that at all. So she really puts on a voice to play the Rosa character in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So when you hear this, it's like she doesn't sound like her at all. So that's kind of one of the big conflicts in the movie, is the internal family conflict, which I like. It's not some big Disney villain in here. It's not some big Disney love story that's also in here traditionally of these kind of movies. No, it's about this internal family conflict, and this family have to kind of work through their issues. And I much appreciated that. I much appreciated they didn't go for the traditional thing of that. And I, also like with this film, it shows the array of different kind of skin tones here you have of Latino people, because they're not just in the background. You have dark skinned, Latino people here that have major roles. One of them is married to one of the people in the family, and then she gives birth to Antonio, who's the son, and then he's also very dark skinned as well, which I thought was very good. I thought that was very cool. And you have people in the town who's also very dark skinned. There's also like these little children who show up, one of whom is dark skinned as well, who that's the first people you see, and they're the ones who they kind of let you kind of get introduced to the family through the kids, because Maribel is singing the song of the whole family. And the music is done by Lin-Manuel Miranda. And
that dude is having a great year.
Yeah, Disney keeps him working. Yeah, that's for sure.
Disney's keeping him working. Into the Heights came out this year. Tick, Tick, Boom, which he directed.
Yeah, his career is at superstardom level right now, and he's everywhere. And now that he's so much everywhere now, you get a sense of what is a Lin-Manuel Miranda song. You get that beat, you get the flow. Like, he's gonna talk like this, and he's gonna rap like this, and he's gonna do this music like that. Like, you get the beat, you get the flow of a Lin-Manuel Miranda song. You know what I mean? And you get that here. Even though I do like the songs in here, these are actually, at least the most I enjoyed a Disney song in a quite a while, actually, because I love the Louisa song that they do. I thought, the one they do with her is very good. I like the Bruno song here. There's a family member who kind of went missing, who's voiced by like John Leguizamo, who does a very good job here as Bruno. I thought that was a very good song. So they do a lot, some good songs in here that I did enjoy. I'm like, I could see myself, listening to this back again on the soundtrack, which was nice. And yeah, I mean, I very much appreciated kind of that stuff in the film, and the stuff with the house is also very nice because it's funny that Diane Guerrero is in this movie because she was in Doom Patrol, and then there was the whole thing with Danny the Street that happened there with that episode where it was like this magical street that could do all this different stuff, and there's like this house can kind of do the same stuff where it can basically talk to people, you know what I mean, through the house and move certain things to have expressions and help the people in the family and things like that, which I thought was...
Okay. So what you're saying is Encanto is set in the DC multiverse.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, set in there. I mean, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised. They should just do a whole series with Diane Guerrero. You know what I mean? Do another Doom Patrol type show. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. The stuff at the house. And yeah, I quite enjoyed it quite a bit there for that stuff, the whole family conflict stuff there, that they just didn't do the villain, because maybe in the traditional thing, maybe 10 years ago they would have did the villain where he stole their powers or something and they had to go fight the guy to get it back or something. This, they don't do that, and I like that. I like a lot of that stuff going on there, and yeah, I give it a strong tune in for me. Wow. I enjoyed it. Yeah, tune in for me. I thought this was very, very enjoyable there. If there's any complaints I had, I can't really say there's any quite complaints I had with it. I thought it was very, very strong from beginning to end, very beautifully told. Yeah, and I like seeing like there's kind of like an evil grandmother character when it comes to these movies about Latino family, because like a lot of times the grandmother is such the rock, is such a strong force, you know what I mean, of the family. And this one, it's kind of like she was kind of destroying the family, you know what I mean. It's kind of like the grandmother is kind of like fucking things up. It's like, Jesus, grandma. I mean, so I appreciated that, showing kind of a little bit of different side of that, how much pressure that can kind of put on people. All right, so moving on from discussing Encanto, going to discuss Hawkeye, episodes 3, episodes 4. So we didn't do a show last week, which was the episode 3, but episode 4 came out, so we're just going to do double. Might as well wait till the finale comes and just do 5 and 6. So might as well just do that instead of just doing episode 5.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible how like fast paced the show is going, especially because they released the first 2 episodes, and I forgot that this is 6 again.
Yeah. So Nick, give your kind of thoughts on what you think about episode 3 and 4 here, man.
Okay, episodes 3 and 4, I think. If you had me putting Hawkeye as my favorite Disney Plus Marvel show a year ago, I would have slapped you, especially in comparison to stuff like Loki, stuff like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which are 2 shows that I absolutely adored. I think here, this is doing something that Marvel, I don't think, has done for a while, and going for that playful action tone. And something that is just really cool about this scene is the reminder that, hey, in case you forgot, Jeremy Renner is one hell of a fucking actor. Especially in episode 3, where they do play more around with Clint Barton's disability with his loss of his hearing. When they have this entire scene where he's talking to one of his kids, and he can't actually hear him, and it's heartbreaking. It was a very moving moment for me.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Disney Plus show. I think some of the special effects with episode 3, like they were doing a lot of the trick arrows there. I don't think it looked all that good. I thought the car chase, I thought it was shot well, but I didn't think it looked all that good in terms of special effects. I thought when they did the putty arrow, I thought that looked really bad. And I guess the more the tone they're going for is more of the Marvel kind of Netflix shows. A little bit more, kind of just more down to earth because you've dealt with mostly bigger kind of elements with these other Disney Plus shows, like WandaVision with her powers and her abilities, Loki, going all these different dimensions and everything like that.
And Falcon and the Winter Soldier going more into the dark spy espionage kind of tone.
Yeah, and when the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it was like, whoa! It was like, this looks like
it was like what? It was like you could put this up to any of the like Marvel Studios films, and the effects in there are on par, if not just on par with, or if not better than.
Yeah, it was like when Falcon opened up and Falcon's gliding through the air. I was like, whoa, this looks really really good. And so I thought some of the stuff didn't kind of look all that good. And I think what's good about this series, though, is, like I said, Jeremy Renner. And, like, he's just a guy. He really is just a guy just trying to make it. He doesn't have the backing of, like, at least Sam, even though he's just a guy, he's got the backing of the government, kind of. And he's got the shield. And he's got Bucky with him. Like, Hawkeye's just really kind of in it, they're kind of fighting stuff himself. And with the addition of Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld, and you see kind of him. He has to go to a Walgreens, pick up some Band-Aids, some alcohol. Very much of like what you saw with Daredevil. He always was wrapped in bandages. He had to be tended to. He has to grab stuff from the freezer, tape it on himself. You know what I mean, to help heal his wounds. So I thought stuff like that was really, really good. And, I know people, always complain about Marvel comedy and everything, but this is supposed to be that. This is supposed to be an action comedy show.
Yes.
Shane Blackish.
Yeah, with a lot of the complaints, I can kind of see it how jokes like that kind of come out of nowhere and they can distract from the tone. But here, that's what they're going for. That's the intention of this show. It's to be this kind of like semi-grounded but still kind of serious action comedy, very akin to Shane Black's work, stuff like Lethal Weapons, stuff like Die Hard, or similar to stuff like that.
Yeah. And I think the relationship Jeremy Renner has with Haley Steinfeld works really well. I think they bounce off each other very, very well.
Yeah, the highlight of their dynamic to me is episode 4, where Renner's kind of hiding out. Clint Barton's kind of like licking his wounds, and Kate Bishop has empathy, seeing that, hey, he's away from his family, so I'm gonna bring Christmas to him. And it's this very cute, very fun sequence that just explores their dynamic. And it was a sequence that I had a smile on my face the entire time I was watching it. I was like, "Aw." Yeah,
it's very good. And I mean, in introducing this kind of baddie, bad guy they're facing, and Echo, who's going to get her own spinoff.
Yeah, Alako Cox, who is a deaf, disabled actor. She is incredible, and this is another case of this is her first on-screen role, and she is crushing it.
Yeah, she be acting her ass off with them hands. Some hands are stern. you know exactly what she means. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, she does a pretty good job. She's getting her own show.
She carries so much emotion and intensity without, well, by nature of who she is as a performer, by necessity. But she is crushing it. She is very expressive, even with her use of sign language.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of very nice. They have this kind of person to go against. And so, this is also going to be a little bit of spoilers, but most people have already kind of seen it out there already. Do you think Kingpin will actually show up in the show, or do you think that was the only thing we're going to see?
I think if he shows up, it'll probably be like an end credit stinger of the series finale. And that's a big fucking if.
Yeah.
Because I saw it too in the third episode. You see like this guy in a all black suit. You hear a laugh. That is that if gun to my head sounds very similar to Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
But until he is on screen in character, he is not showing up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I stand with it.
There's been some leaked stuff that reportedly like he's gonna be like in a fat suit, and there's gonna be like CGI added to stuff, and
He
uh,
just looks like the Into the Spider-Verse version of the character, just like
yeah,
yep.
which I don't understand why you would even need to do because Vincent D'Onofrio is a big guy. Like he's already a pretty big
Yeah,
guy.
he's a big guy, and his performance as Wilson Fisk on Daredevil, it's one of the greatest villain performances in, I don't think, just not only superhero TV, but just TV in general. I think every season that he was featured prominently on in Daredevil, there is an argument that he deserved the Best Supporting Actor nomination from the Golden Globes or the Emmys.
Yeah, I thought he did a very strong job. And then Vincent D'Onofrio, I mean, he's not good at holding his cards close to his vest because he's all like, "Yeah, this Hawkeye show looks pretty good. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, this dude
It's
who,
like, quit teasing us, you son of a bitch! Just
yeah, he's like this dude who came out of nowhere and grabbed this girl's cheek. Wow, this dude's really good. I wonder who this is.
huh?
Yeah,
It's
I was
like,
like,
man, fuck you.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's gonna come back. Maybe in this, like I said, maybe they'll do series finale. Maybe.
I think if it isn't him, maybe they could do Tombstone because that's something that a Spectacular Spider-Man did very well. They worked around kind of the rights issues, so they pretty much had Tombstone be the stand-in for the Kingpin.
Yeah, but they don't have to worry about that anymore since they already kind of did their thing, so they don't have to really worry about that too
Yeah,
much
but
anymore.
how long ago was this whole series filmed before the rights reverted back?
That's true. Um, yeah. We'll see though. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's so short though. 6 episodes. Like, I'm surprised it's only six. Like, it seems like it's so short. Maybe maybe should have did eight or something like that just to flesh some more stuff out. Because
Yeah,
another.
yeah, and that's kind of a common critique I have with a lot of the Marvel Disney Plus shows is even though on paper, like, okay, you're packing everything into 6 episodes, there is a lot of interesting ideas that I want to see explored more, whether it be in this show or another spinoff. But I think this is a case where you could justify 8 or even maybe 10 episodes.
Yeah. Because so another big spoiler that happened. This was in episode four. Another big thing was Elena
Our
Belova.
girl's back.
Yeah, she comes up. She shows
Our
up.
girl, the girl with the vibranium spine that carried Black Widow.
Yeah, which I completely forgot she's supposed to show up in the show. So when she was, yeah, when he was fighting this person on the roof, I was like, "Who is he fighting on the roof?" I was like, "Oh right, yeah, she's supposed to be in this show." Yeah, so I was kind of, yeah, and then she kind of showed. Did you think it was kind of underwhelming the way she showed up?
Not really, because just thinking on what I know about just thinking about what I know about that character from Black Widow, would she have approached that situation any differently? Because she is manipulated into thinking that Clint Barton killed Nat. So, of course, she wouldn't, like, do this big confrontation. She'd just lurk out of the shadows and fuck him up.
Yeah, but you don't really see anything like of a person stalking, Clint and watching his movements beforehand. You know what I mean? I don't think you see anything like that
Maybe
before.
the. Dude, remember, she was a Black Widow, and we saw Nat's skills, and we saw a lot of her in Black Widow. Maybe she's just that good.
She's so good, she's evading the audience even seeing her. Maybe. And it was kind of fun. Florence Pugh, she was on Instagram. She was watching the show, and she put on Instagram, and she was kind of watching the whole fight, and she was kind of narrating through it, which was cute. It was very fun. And then I heard Instagram blocked her for that. They
Yeah,
did,
which is fucked up.
yeah. So
Yeah, fucked up block it reporting the actor that is in the fucking show
yeah.
for spoilers, which, come on, the second the show airs, it is going to be all over the internet. That is just the nature of the beast now. Like, remember how many, like, memes came out seconds after every episode of Game of Thrones finished?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that was kind of a shame, but it was nice, seeing her, have fun watching it and everything like that. Um,
Yeah, I feel like because a fair share of actors who have been in Marvel, they've kind of as time went on, kind of like regretted doing it, kind of had like a lot of words to say about how Marvel does things. And it's nice to see someone who's just happy to be there and happy to play this character and play in this sandbox that is the Marvel universe.
Yeah. Did you see what Marissa Tomei said? See what she said?
Come on, every actor who played Aunt May kind of hates playing Aunt May.
Yeah, she was doing an interview, and they were like, "Yeah, so it's probably fun playing Aunt May, right? Being in this universe." She was like, "Yeah, I guess. I mean, what led you to do this role?" She was like, I listened to my agent for once. You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll see how it goes."
I mean, you could just do the Alfred Molina thing. Oh, for me, it's all about the money.
Yeah, what I mean. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, a lot of these actors, it's a job. A job, you come do it. Get a good check.
We forget. I think we forget a lot of times because we're nerds. A lot of us are fans of this. That's kind of like our dream. And when you're an actor, it's work.
Yeah, it's work and it's a job, and you know what I mean. You just kind of want to get the check real quick and kind of be done. You don't want to deal with all this nerd shit and asking all these, ask these questions about, is your character going to show up in this, and you doing a whole promotion for another movie. They're asking you about this other thing. It's like, I'm here to talk about this, but okay, whatever. So yeah, that
can Remember like the 4 years between Batman v Superman and Justice League? Every single interview was Ben Affleck getting asked about the Batman.
Yeah,
every single one, which I don't want to speculate, but may or may not have contributed to his relapse.
Yeah. But yeah, he's looking good now. I saw him. He was at the Laker game. I think they were playing. What was it? Who were they playing?
Shit. If going through a relapse means I get with Ana de Armas and then J-Lo back to back, sign me up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was having a good time at the Laker courtside with Jennifer Lopez. Lakers are ass, but whatever. He was there with Jennifer Lopez though. Hey, what's going on there, X7? How are you, man? Hey, thanks for joining us, man. We're just talking about the newest episodes of Hawkeye here. So yeah, I gotta wait till the show's done to see where I would say about where it would rank with the Disney Plus shows. But I do like
me as well. But as it stands right now, this is probably the most I've looked forward to seeing the next episode.
Yeah. And I do like the smaller nature of it. I do like the more grounded nature of it, the street level nature of it, which I think is very good and very fun.
I like we're exploring the street level stuff because that's a side of Marvel that we don't get a lot. I like seeing stuff on a smaller scale, which is something that the Netflix shows were going for and were tied into until Scott Buck and Iron Fist came in and fucked up the whole scheme.
Yeah. Glad to hear you're doing great there, X7. Did you see Resident Evil, by the way? Did you see that yet? I know you're a huge Resident Evil guy. I wonder if you did get a chance to see that yet. Let me know if you did, and let me know your thoughts on that. It's finally them getting a chance to rectify, what they kind of did with ending the Marvel Netflix shows, and then seeing where they can kind of take the pieces. It's like, okay, well, you did some good stuff here. Let's see what we can work with, which would be kind of fun to watch. Which we're going to get into later with the whole Charlie Cox news. So I think solid episodes 3 and 4. Of course, there's the eventual, they have to break up as a team and then get back together. You know what I mean? There's always that eventual thing that happens in buddy movies.
The breakup and then eventual reconciliation that happens in both buddy films and romantic comedies, as they do.
Yep, that happens. Got to always put that in there. So that's very conventional. I mean, it was very nice to hear Vera Farmiga talking to her about, talking to Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye, about just kind of stay away from my daughter, you know what I mean? Stuff that happens is real world consequences to this superhero stuff. And I don't kind of want my daughter mixed up in that. And then immediately after that, does a mission.
And as it's so much fun to see Tony Dalton be in more stuff, especially off of Better Call Saul, where he is incredible as Lalo Salamanca.
Yeah. And I thought that was a kind of good moment between all three of them when they were talking about, him not using aphorisms, right? You know what I mean? I thought that was kind of cute. That was a good moment there. So, yep, we'll come back with the season finale of the show. We'll review that, unless maybe something big happens in maybe episode 5, maybe. Like if the Kingpin shows up in that, well, maybe we'll talk about that. All right. So that we are done for the reviews. We're going to be moving on to the news here. So for the news, we're going to be discussing. Might as well, since we're talking about the Disney Plus stuff already.
Yeah, the biggest thing that came out this week, and tying back into our talk about Hawkeye, is our prayers have been answered, and Charlie Cox is back, motherfuckers.
Yes. So Kevin Feige said that Charlie Cox will be maintaining his role as Daredevil in the MCU.
I think the exact quote was, when we do Daredevil in the MCU, Charlie Cox will be the actor.
Yep.
Which I think is absolutely the right call. He did such an incredible job playing Matt Murdock over 3 seasons. Well, 3.5 seasons on Netflix in both Daredevil and The Defenders. It would have been a disservice if you cast somebody else, because you have the perfect performance. It's like if for Iron Man 3 they recast Robert Downey Jr. You just can't do it.
Yeah. And with this news coming out, and he says, like, oh well, you never know when he's gonna pop back up again. It's like you already had the big leak.
The timing is suspicious, especially given how close No Way coming.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you already had the big leak already. Why would you even announce this right now?
It's like, is it Photoshop? Is it not?
Yeah, so that is already kind of like, yeah, why would you announce this now? I mean, you know what I mean? I feel like I know a lot about this movie more than I should at this point. It's like, damn, I didn't know this much about Infinity War. I didn't know this much about Endgame. But
Marvel, they're normally on top of like plot details, leaks, editing stuff out of trailers completely, putting entire scenes that are not going to be in the final product. And this one, they're just, I think Feige's just had enough. All right, he's like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. Just get to the goddamn like premiere date.
I think it's because it's Sony. That's what it is. That's the only other denominator. It's that's the only thing that messes up the equation is Sony getting thrown in there. Because if it was just Marvel, maybe they would have kept it better under wraps. With the fact Sony's thrown in there, that's what's messing everything up, I think. But so now that they said that, okay, Charlie Cox he's going to be still Daredevil.
And the biggest thing is he didn't say if, he said when.
Yeah.
Which I think is the hugest thing. And it opens up the doors for a lot of the other Netflix characters come back. Because I know Mike Coulter, he's not exactly busy, and he loved playing Luke Cage. Kristen Ritter, who I think is perfect casting for Jessica Jones. Iron Fist, go ahead and recast that. Just don't even bother having him there.
Mm-hmm. So what would you want to see from Daredevil returning?
From Daredevil returning, I would like if the MCU continued kind of on the ground. If they do stuff that is like closer in tone from what it looks like they're going for Moon Knight, going for that kind of like a edgier tone with in terms of its violence and its choreography. I'd love to see something like that. Just maybe like slightly toned down from the Netflix show.
What storyline would you like to see them do? Because they did a lot of the major storylines in the Marvel Netflix show.
I remember probably my favorite Daredevil run would be from Matt Fraction, who also did the Hawkeye run, of which is the hugest inspiration for the Disney Plus show. Maybe pulling something from that, because I think the well is kind of dry when you're pulling from Frank Miller. Because everybody loves Frank Miller. They love pulling stories from that. And they've already done everything they can from there. They pulled stuff from The Hand. They pulled stuff from The Man Without Fear, from Born Again. Right. That well is kind of dry, so maybe do something lighter. Allow Charlie Cox to kind of have fun playing this character.
Yeah. Like you said, the Frank Miller stuff is kind of done. They did Born Again, the Born Again kind of storyline, Man Without Fear. And it'd be interesting to see storyline what they do. I think one good thing, I would love to see Daredevil take over the Hand. That was a big storyline in the comics,
Mm.
where he
Yeah,
became
that was a
the
very recent run whereas like he had the black suit.
yeah, yeah, that'd be interesting to maybe do something like that. And then again, depending on what else you take from the Marvel Netflix stuff. Honestly, I didn't really like Elodie Young as Elektra. I did not like her there. I think
I I thought she was good casting, and I thought she did a good performance as Elektra. I think everything else in that second season and the Defenders kind of drags it down because the Hand they sucked.
yeah, the Hand was better when it was more kind of
They're,
mysterious and more
they're
in the
they
shadows.
are the worst part of the Marvel Netflix run.
But I still think you can salvage it because I did really like Madame Gao. I think she was really great. Sigourney Weaver, no, she wasn't. I don't think she was good at all.
She was wasted.
Yeah, really, really
It was a
wasted.
waste of Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, waste of her. So let's see what they can do with that. Mike Coulter, Luke Cage. You can still do the Heroes for Hire. They haven't done that yet. And that show
Yeah,
Luke Cage.
if they just do Heroes for Hire and they do something similar to the tone of Finn Jones in Luke Cage season 2, I wouldn't be mad if you brought him back as Danny Rand.
Yeah, the only time I did like him was when he was with Mike Coulter. Danny Rand, that's when he was with Luke Cage is the only time I ever liked him there. So there, and I would also like to see Daughters of the Dragon. I think that'd be cool to have Misty Knight back and
Yeah,
Colleen
just
Wing.
let Jessica Henwick secure the bag for
Yeah,
real this time.
yeah. She already turned down MCU. You know what I mean? She had a chance to be in Shang
I
Chi.
do you think that was because this was a possibility
No,
of Colleen Wing coming back?
no. She said that she had the choice between doing that and doing the Matrix, and she had to choose
Hmm.
between the two. Somebody made her choose between what she wanted to do, and she picked the
Yeah,
Matrix.
do you think that was like a possibility at the time?
Uh,
Because the Daredevil rights didn't come back to Marvel until what, a year ago?
Right. So are you saying that the reason she rejected it was because she thought she was going to come back as Colleen Wing and like
I
something?
think she rejected it because she thought it would have been a possibility.
Oh, okay. Maybe. I mean, Colleen Wing is a bigger character than Shang-Chi's sister and what they could do with her character, maybe.
Mhm.
Who knows? I mean, it depends on what the fan reaction is to your character. I mean, Shang-Chi's sister, well, she never said what role she was going to play. I'm just assuming it would have been his sister because that's the role that seems likely.
I think it either would have been Fina's character or as Zhu Xiaoling.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have been Aquafina because her character, like Jessica Hedwig's never really done comedy before. I have seen her ever done. Like if Ali Wong said she was up for the role in Shang Chi, I would have said
I mean, she was in that Sofia Coppola movie On the Rocks, right?
yeah, but she really didn't have a big part in that movie. And that movie's kind of like a more of a drama kind of thing, and it's kind of like a drama comedy type thing. But she really didn't
Hmm.
have that big of a role in that movie, really. Yeah. Daughters of the Dragon. I like to see. Jessica Jones. I mean, Jessica Jones. They already kind of did her major storyline, the Alias kind of storyline. They already did with her, Purple
Yeah,
Man.
I think maybe with the exception of like Daredevil or doing like a Heroes for Hire thing, a lot of the Netflix characters might end up just being supporting players because I can see Jessica Jones interacting with like She-Hulk. I
Yeah,
can see Charlie Cox coming in as say a lawyer character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
yeah,
or his Daredevil teaming up with other heroes.
yeah. Supporting players. Yeah, she'll be a PI for She Hulk or something like that. Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. So we're excited. Good for him. Good for Charlie Cox back as Daredevil. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I was just rewatching Daredevil through this past week in my off time, and I still maintain seasons 1 and 3 are perfect seasons of superhero television.
Yeah. Would you want to see Punisher come back?
Uh, I've heard interviews with John Bernthal talking about if they brought Frank Castle into the MCU, and I'm kind of on the same page with him. The only way you could do it is if you bring that kind of edgy violence with it. I don't think he works in the kind of a sanitized environment. I think my opinion on that might change after something like a Moon Knight comes out, because I think that's going for something a little darker. So maybe I could see it working after Moon Knight drops.
Okay, we'll see. All right, so let's get into some trailers. Since we already talking about the Matrix anyway with Justin Hedwick, might as well get into the Matrix Resurrection trailer. So here is the second trailer for the fourth Matrix film, and which is directed by Lana Wachowski. Here shows a little bit more of kind of the story, kind of a little bit more what's going on. Typically with second trailers, that's typically what they tend to do.
Yeah, so I was kind of shocked that the score of this trailer wasn't just the song "Reboot It" from the Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Reboot it, redo it, reshoot it, renew it.
Yeah. I haven't seen. When's the last time you've seen the other Matrix movies? When's the last time you've seen them?
I rewatched the first movie, I think, like maybe once or twice a year, because I think that movie is just incredible. But it has been a while since I've revisited Reloaded in Revolutions. Yeah. I'd be very curious, because I've occasionally watch clips from some of these films online, and that is probably the biggest through line and the biggest out that they have for continuing this franchise. It is in The Matrix Reloaded and that scene with the architect. He talks about how, look, man, this isn't even the first time we've done this. Because to make the Matrix work, you have to give the illusion of choice. And that eventually leads to the destruction of this revolution, of this human rebellion, and we get to start all over again. And I think that is kind of this franchise's out.
Yeah. So you could just basically just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. Basically there. Yeah. I haven't seen the sequels in a long time. I guess they have a thing with having R's at the beginning of with their titles: Revolutions, Reloaded, Resurrection. You know what I mean? Yeah. It should have been. I mean, it should have been Revival. I mean, that's what it should have been. Yeah, that's basically what you're doing.
The Matrix rebooted.
Yeah, Matrix rebooted. And with this, I mean, I do remember a lot of things from like you said, the scene with the architect. A lot of them, the sequels do delve really heavily into philosophy and talking, a lot of talking scenes, and
yeah, I think at least for the sequels, to their detriment, because with the first film, a lot of the dialogue is heavier, but the main focus of it was, I feel like, the action and kind of grounding it, kind of having this amazing cast of actors and stud performers choreographed by Hong Kong legend Yen Wu Ping, and actually having all of your actors in training camp with him learning all the choreography. And I feel like that lost a lot of focus with the sequel. And the Wachowskis were more interested in this kind of philosophical debate rather than telling a cohesive story.
Yeah. I will say...
But I feel like with time, I kind of have come around on at least The Matrix Reloaded. Because I feel like with that film, it's delving into kind of our feeling of choice. And it's asking the question, does anything that we do actually matter, or are we just repeating a cycle over and over again?
Right, yeah. Yeah, like one line, I think this was in the first Matrix, where he meets the Oracle for the first time, and then she tells him about, you're about to hit that cup, and it's about to fall over. And it brings
but if I told you about it, would you have still done it?
Right, yeah. And in Reloaded, I will still say that the highway scene, one of the best highway action scenes ever.
The highway scene in that film is incredible.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful action in that scene. Did you see the game they have coming out for the Matrix?
Oh, I don't think I saw a bit of the game, but I do remember the old PS2 game. I think it was called Enter the Matrix.
Yeah,
it was a game that focused on Jada Pinkett's character in Reloaded.
Yeah, it was Enter the Matrix, and there was one, Path of Neo. It was two of those games. Yeah, I think I played both of those. Those are fun. I remember playing those on PS2. Those were really a lot of good time. What are your expectations for this movie? Honestly, with
Um, Honestly, I kind of have lowered expectations for this. I feel like we're kind of getting Force Awakens of this franchise, but I also feel like this will probably be one of the more interesting entries in this franchise because you are playing with the idea of kind of loops and causality, and does anything we do actually matter, because we're eventually just going to end up in the exact same place over again. And I'm curious to see, and I love the cast that you get here. You have Yahya Abdul-Mateen as Morpheus. You have Neil Patrick Harris, Jessica Henwick. You have Jonathan Groff, who it looks like he's playing another version of Agent Smith. Who, one, I adore him as an actor, and I want to see him do more stuff.
Yeah. I hope they don't do much like, hey, you remember the first Matrix? Because you see in the trailer, you see him watching the first Matrix. You know what I mean? And I hope they don't do too much of that. And with, it seems like the core of this is going to be about his love for Trinity. And that's the thing that's going to break the Matrix, is the love that they have for each other. And they'll find each other no matter what. And that's what's going to break the simulation, it seems like, in the Matrix. So I don't know. That can be corny. I don't know. We'll see how that kind of works in the movie, if they end up kind of doing that in the film. Action wise, I mean, it's hard to top what you did in the first three Matrix. I mean, the first three Matrix movies were revolutionary when it comes to the action. What they did, everybody wanted to emulate the Matrix when it came out. What do you think about the action here?
I think a lot of it is owed. I think the action. I think a lot of it's going to be owed to Keanu's time training for the John Wick films, because just watching a little bit of his scenes there, rewatching his fight scenes in the first Matrix, he has barely lost a step. I think a lot of the suspension of disbelief is going to be with some of the other returning actors like Carrie-Anne Moss. And can she still do a lot of this?
I think she could still jump up in the air and freeze. I think she could still do that. Hold her legs up in there. Yeah.
And you also have actors who I think are very capable stunt performers in their own right, like Yahya, like Jessica Henwick.
Yeah.
And I think the action, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
The action scenes have never been a concern for the Matrix.
Yeah. Yeah. I did like the ending of the trailer where Keanu was like, "Yeah, I still know kung fu." Yeah,
still know kung fu.
Yeah, he still got to do that. Yeah, still Keanu like, damn, bro. He's got to be the luckiest guy, an actor in Hollywood. Jesus, he is not a good actor, but damn, did he make it? He's just got something. He's got it. He's got the skill. He's got the touch. He's got the power.
I mean, in the first Matrix, I think it works because Neo is supposed to be this kind of blank slate that we're exploring this idea through his eye.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. You tell me.
I know kung fu.
Yeah. You tell me there's a red pill and a blue pill? Whoa. Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa. What color is red?
Yeah. Why is red red? Whoa. Whoa, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Why aren't you Lawrence Fishburne? Whoa. Yeah.
Whoa. It's like he's talking to Jonathan Groff. Whoa. Weren't you in Frozen?
Man, but let's see. This comes out, Christmas, close to Christmas, yeah, December
22nd. December 22nd, in theaters and on HBO.
Oh, it's going to HBO Max too. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why they just didn't put it straight to theaters. That's interesting.
Because I think the deal was settled last year with the whole Warner Brothers. All of their movies are theaters and HBO.
Okay. All right. So moving on from discussing the Matrix, going to discuss Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. We got a little bit of a trailer for that. Discussing that. Excuse me.
We get a continuation of the ending of Into the Spider-Verse, where Miles is just chilling in his room, and Spider-Gwen comes out from the portal and starts flirting with Miles again, and she puts her fucking shoes on the goddamn bed.
Puts the shoes on the bed, yeah.
It's like,
I mean, I mean, she's lucky she didn't catch him. I mean, you know what I mean. It seemed like he was a couple minutes away from reaching down a little bit. You know what I mean. Hand going off screen. It seems like it was kind of going that direction a little bit. So she lucky she didn't. He didn't catch. He didn't.
She like caught him right at the opportune time.
Yeah, because he was chilling. He had his headphones on. He was
chilling, had the headphones on. I'm guessing the door locked.
Yeah. Listened to the same song from 3 years ago, which is the most relatable thing I've ever seen any superhero do ever.
Yeah, I get it. I still listen to that soundtrack.
Yeah, it's a good soundtrack. I mean, hey, he listened to his own soundtrack. Hey, when you got a good soundtrack.
I think that came out the same year as Black Panther. It was like 2 superhero soundtracks that are all bangers all the time.
Yeah. So that was pretty good. Yeah, that's probably the most relatable thing I've ever seen any superhero do. Listen to the same song for 3 years. Yeah. I mean, but it's bad. She comes into his room. He's got stuffed animals still up. You know what I mean? He already
starts touching all his stuff.
Yeah, got it in his sketchbook. He drew her. I was like, oh shit, Jesus.
I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, buddy.
Yeah, got her name and hearts and stars and shit. You know what I mean?
Just a Gwen Stacy Morales.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did the whole last name? Give her a last name. Wrote her name in big bubble letters. That was always the big thing in high school. If you could do the bubble letters, that was always good.
Yeah. That's something I always saw. If you could do the bubble S, then that was like the green light to girls.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like you a king if you could do the bubble letters thing. Yeah. So here we are. You know, this is the sequel, much anticipated sequel, Spider-Verse. Generally, I think most people consider Spider-Verse the best Spider-Man movie. You know, I do myself. I think it's the best Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
I think I'd even go so far as to say it's one of the best cartoons I've seen in the past. I don't know how long, maybe 5-10 years. I love it. I think it's really great.
Into the Spider-Verse, one of the greatest superhero movies of the absolute greatest Spider-Man film, and just one of the greatest animated films of, I'd say, the last 20 years.
Yeah, it'd be up
and that's
there,
including stuff like Coco, including stuff like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Mitchell's versus the Machines. It's phenomenal. And I've rewatched Into the Spider-Verse at least 20 times, and I still come away with something new every time I revisit it.
Yeah, it's a great time to watch. And here it's going to be focusing on Miguel O'Hara, who's Spider-Man 2099, who's voiced by Oscar Isaac.
Who is going to be voiced by our geek darling, Oscar Isaac, who... Yeah. It's kind of funny that Miguel O'Hara discovers interdimensional travel, and his first instinct is to go beat the shit out of a teenager.
Well, hey, sometimes teenagers need it. I mean, you know what I mean? You know,
yeah. Some of those kids in West Side Story could have used it whooping.
Yeah. So, what are you kind of looking forward to with this movie, and what kind of your expectations here?
So I am a little worried that this film is coming out so quickly after the first film, because I remember Into the Spider-Verse, it was kind of a film that was in hell for a long time up until it came out in 2018, and this is only like 4 years after the last film, which is a little worrying, but the directors attached to this are incredible. You have excuse me, let me see if I can pull
Kemp
it up.
Powers and Joaquin Dos Santos.
Yeah, Kemp Powers, who is a writer, a great playwright, has written stuff like a Soul, like a One Night in Miami. I think this is his first time directing. Oh, he was a co-director on Soul as well, which is one of my favorite animated films. You have Joaquin Dos Santos, who was a showrunner for stuff like Avatar: The Last Airbender, stuff like Legend of Korra, who is a longtime director on there, who's done stuff like Justice League Unlimited. Great animation director. And Justin K. Thompson, who was a director on Cloudy with a Chance, who was an animator on stuff like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball. So it looks like they're still keeping in line with the Lord Miller kind of usual crew. And Lord Miller are returning to write it, which I think was a huge strength of the first film.
Yeah. Can you animate? Can you draw? Animate?
I can't draw. I can't draw for shit, dude.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say they are looking for animators. So they did a whole open call on Twitter looking for animators. I mean, if I knew how to animate, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure. I'll get exploited to work on the Spider-Man movie. Why not? Yeah, sure.
Dude, watch. You're just gonna end up doing touch up on the butthole cut of cats.
I'll take that. I'll take that. Yeah, dude. I'll do some good buttholes on the cats. Yeah, sure.
But yeah, on top of that, just additions to the cast that we're getting, because we're getting Jessica Drew, who was a Spider Woman, who's going to be voiced by Issa Rae, and we've already mentioned Oscar Isaac as Miguel O'Hara. But we're also, I think, we're getting like a whole bunch of other Spider-Man, like the animated Spider-Man from the '90s might make an appearance. I've heard the classic Japanese Spider-Man is appearing in this.
There's so many different Spider-Mans. So many that you could do, that you could introduce. Yeah, the '90s Spider-Man, maybe the Spectacular Spider-Man, maybe. I mean, that was a hugely popular show.
Sony still got the rights.
Yeah, so maybe you could still do that. And maybe see Silk. Haven't seen Silk yet. Maybe throw Silk in there. So do you think, since it's called Across the Spider-Verse, that instead of people coming to Miles, it's going to be him going to other people?
That's what I think we're gonna see, because with the Into the Spider-Verse, it was cool seeing a bunch of other Spider-Man, but the focus of it was Miles' story. It's very telling that the final climax of the film between him and Kingpin, all the other Spider-Men are gone, and it's up to Miles.
So do you think it's still going to be a very focused Miles story, or do you think it's gonna be kind of distracting with focusing more on Miguel O'Hara?
That's kind of what I'm hoping we don't get. I think because we got that very mentor-mentee dynamic between Peter B. Parker, who was voiced by Jake Johnson, and Miles Morales in the first film, I hope we kind of see the opposite of it. Because we kind of see Miles interacting and learning from this kind of washed up, has been doing it for too long Spider-Man, and hope maybe we get to see a completely different dynamic between him and Miguel O'Hara. Because I haven't read a lot of Spider-Man 2099, but I hear he's a generally beloved version of the character.
Interesting. Okay, because I haven't heard a lot about the characters. That's interesting. Okay. But you said that you didn't like the time frame in which the sequel was coming out. You thought it was too short. How long do you think it should have been?
I don't know. Maybe give it another 2 years on top of this, because I know animation takes a long time, and especially with the kind of visuals that are in both this and what we see from Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Still has that great animation style. I heard they're going to be doing different animation styles in each universe they go in.
Which is something that we only got hinted at with Into the Spider-Verse, because every single different Spider-Man in that film, they were animated in a different style. The noir Spider-Man, he was drawn like a 1920s black and white film noir, of course. Penny Parker, who was very anime drawn, and you had Spider-Ham, who was Looney Tune.
Yeah. So I mean, that must be such a nightmare to draw all those different styles, and
not just that, have to draw all of those different characters, all of those different animation styles, and have them all in the same frame.
Yeah, that's beautiful work. Beautiful work. I know some people said that they didn't like it because the animation gave them a headache. They didn't kind of like that about the Spider-Verse, but I don't know.
To that I say, grow a pair.
Yeah. But all right. So moving on from discussing that, we're going to be discussing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We're going to be discussing Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The trailer for that movie came out. It is a sequel to kind of the surprise a little bit of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Generally. Yeah, the shockingly good Sonic the Hedgehog film.
Yeah, I learned a lot from the Sonic the Hedgehog film. I learned the Olive Garden, their basket is limitless. It's endless. You know what I mean?
You learned that from Sonic?
Learned that from Sonic. I learned that Zello, you find great prices on Zello. I learned that as well. What else was
there was a fair bit of product placement in that film, but then again, what kids movie doesn't have?
Very, very true. But it was generally kind of good. I think it was a lot of people were expecting it to be a huge dumpster fire, and it
I
wasn't.
mean, I mean, we all saw the original. That horrifying monstrosity.
And that's kind of that's good. They fixed that. They brought the kind of design from the from the game, which was good. That was kind of one of the few times the fans were actually right about something, and the studio listened to them and changed it.
Still fucked up that they shut down that studio right after.
Yeah, very true. But that is very depressing. But hey, they did fix it. They did bring some people joy. I guess. I guess they can look at that. They probably think, bitch, I want to get paid. Fuck you. I still want a job. So you kind of have here with the sequel where you have the people were excited about the addition of Knuckles, who's played by Idris Elba.
I am a little disappointed that doesn't sound sexy. It's a little disappointing.
I don't know. I mean, he sounded pretty good. I think, classic Idris Elba, the voice, the accent. Thought he was pretty good. And I thought it was good they saved him to the last moment of the trailer. I thought that was also very good.
Yeah, because the main focus of the trailer is Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik, who surprised the hell out of me in that first film. It was a throwback to an era of Carrey films that I kind of missed for a long time.
Okay.
Stuff like Ace Ventura, which is, still a very fun movie, but only wildly transphobic at the very end.
I've never seen that movie myself, actually. I've never seen Ace.
The ending does not hold up.
Okay. And you have, most people are also very excited about the addition of Tails, especially since Tails is voiced by the voice actor.
The original game actor.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. I was like, yeah. Which I understand why you don't do that more. I mean, like, for instance, Chris Pratt is Mario. Mario is one of the he's one of the most biggest successful video game characters ever. I don't understand why.
That's my response.
Why?
That's my response.
I don't see Chris Pratt. Oh, fuck Chris Pratt. Oh, sorry, I had the trailer up there. I didn't see you. Oh, fuck Chris Pratt.
Yeah, that's my response to that Mario film.
Oh, yeah.
Purely because it's Illumination alone.
Might be good. Never know. You know what I mean? It's got your girl in it. It's got Anna Taylor-Joy. You like her.
It's Illumination. Where it's going to be mid at best.
Illumination, what was that great movie they did? I forgot, but I'll remember it in a second.
You can't even name the great movie they did.
No, I forgot. I just forgot. I forgot what it was. I remember they did a great movie.
So it's great, but it's forgettable.
No, I'm trying to think of the studio it came from. That's all. I'll think of it. I'll think of it in a minute. But what did you think about this trailer here?
I think this does a great job of hyping up the film. You get to see the dynamic between James Marsden and Sonic, which was shockingly one of the highlights of the first film. I just hope that in this film there isn't a huge case of sequelitis that I think happens a lot with a lot of studio sequels. But I think the addition of Knuckles, it'll add something completely different, especially because Sonic didn't really have a rival from his own world in the first film. It was mostly focusing on him versus Robotnik.
Well, and like you said, it's good to see Jim Carrey, do kind of good Jim Carrey stuff, have fun.
Yeah, it's cool seeing Jim Carrey be classic Jim Carrey.
Yeah. And he did bring a lot of great energy to the movie, a lot of great fun to it, which I thought was, pretty much needed. And the relationship Sonic had with James Marsden's very good. He's very talented. And
every time he does one of these kind of like on paper very mid studio family films, I forget how good of an actor he is.
Yeah,
because he's probably one of the better performances on something like Westworld, which I finally was able to watch the first season of recently.
Oh, you did? You finally? Okay, yeah. I finished Westworld. I watched one time I just sat down and binged it. I was like, I've never seen the show. Binged it all. I was like, oh, okay, all right. I still think season 1's the best season, but okay. I was like, this is pretty solid. I think this is exciting to look forward to. I like the kind of addition, Tails, Knuckles. I'm not like a huge Sonic guy. I'm not really into Sonic all that much, but I do know of those characters. And it does look like they have a much bigger budget here than they did in the first one. Tails looks really good. Knuckles looks really good.
I mean, they didn't. They didn't have to blow $3 million fixing the Sonic design this time.
Yeah, that's true. So they had a little bit more money to work with here.
I was like, oh, thank God we got that money on stage.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. So yeah, I'm excited for this. Definitely looking forward to. When is it coming out? 2022, April.
Yeah, I think it's at April 2022.
Okay, so it's not that bad. All right, people. We're gonna be heading out of here. We're gonna be coming back tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're gonna be doing a watch party for Jingle All the Way.
Yep. Watch party for a Christmas classic with Jingle All the Way, which we may have of Josh Hunter from The Real Pineapple.
Yeah, very nice. Jingle All the Way, one of my favorite Christmas movies ever. Love that movie. Love that movie.
Put the cookie down. No.
So I love that movie. So we're gonna do a nice watch party for that. It would be nice to have a guest. First time we ever had a guest doing the watch party. So it'd be pretty nice. Also gonna be doing a review for Spectacular Spider-Man, the series. Since Spider-Man's coming out.
Yes, the criminally underwatched Spider-Man series, and for my money, the greatest interpretation of that character.
Yeah. So since excuse me. Oh man. Since Spider-Man's coming out next week, yeah, we're going to be just talking about Spider-Man. So we're going to be doing the show. Also, we're going to be doing, excuse me, excuse me. I just lost my place here. Hit Monkey. We're also going to be doing that for Hulu, from Hulu, the Marvel show. Hearing some really great things about that. So we're going to be reviewing that series that popped up on Hulu.
Yep. And you might hear more great things about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wink.
Also, we'll also try to see if I can get my Belfast review in, watch that, try to get that in. And also see if I can do the Beatles documentary too. See if I can cram that in as well and watch that.
It's 9 hours of a documentary. Yoko Ono tanks the Beatles. Well, Lennon takes the Beatles because of Yoko Ono, and he eventually gets shot.
Well, I mean, they were going to break up anyway. I mean, Yoko Ono didn't really have any impact on that. But
she killed the Beatles. She had the biggest impact.
No. That's false. You know what I mean? Yoko Ono had maybe little impact, but it wasn't that much to say. I would say. But maybe I'll try to see if I can watch it. Do my best to watch it before Saturday. Yeah. Also, hey, shout out to Kasem. Got his sweatshirt on. Got some merch from him.
Mine's still in the mail. I'm still waiting on mine. Damn overseas military shipping.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, but we'll see. You kind of rock yours. He's got when does he have a fight coming up? It's
I think he said like mid-January.
Mid-January. Okay. Yeah. So I'll make sure to rock this, support him. Everything like that. So hey, shout out to him. And maybe he's gonna come on next week for the Spider-Man review. Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe that is a possibility.
Yeah. And we maybe have some other people coming on. Do Spider-Man reviewers from all across the universe, multiverse.
From all across the multiverse.
Yeah. I'm gonna have
all across the podcast multiverse. We come in to review Spider-Man.
Yeah. Coming from every portal, every Discord, coming in. So yeah, we'll try to be doing that.
All right, Bubbles, do the portal thing.
Yeah, very, very, very cute and Bubbles there. All right. Well, we're gonna be getting out of here, people. Thanks for joining us. Sorry for the late show. Try to be more on time tomorrow. And we're gonna be getting out of here. So, Nick, where can people find you, man?
Hello, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Night and Day Nick. Josh, where can they find the show?
Well, that is very easy. Of course, we're streaming on Twitch, right? Twitch.tv/TheAfternoonTune. We're on YouTube at youtube.com/TheAfternoonTune. You can also check us out on all the social medias, Afternoon Tune, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all Afternoon Tune. You just type that name in and you'll find us. Also, if you want to send us an email, any comments, questions, anything like that, just type in theafternoontune@gmail.com. Send us an email and we'll answer your questions. Hey, to all you good people out there, don't forget to always stay tuned.
Stay tuned.